Well, then the next like 2 or so weeks go by, and she's talking about, hey, I'm moving, I'm going to do all these things, and like I want us to be friends, I want us to stay in contact with
No. Being divorced is one thing, but being 22 and getting a divorce is a completely different ballgame. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's a channel where we find the truth, seek understanding, and be the light. It's your boy Big Blue, and this one's actually pretty interesting, guys. I haven't been divorced, and the idea that this individual, like, I really don't understand it. Like, this guy is saying that he's 22 and he's been divorced. Dude, like, you either just finished college, or if you're anything like me, you're still in college. And at 22 years old, you're already divorced. That's crazy. But let's just go ahead and get right into it. And I'll try to talk as little as I can. But this is just a wild situation to be in. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Y'all comment in the section below, which I think. And let's just see what this man went through. Not necessarily what she did to him, even though I'm still going to react to that. But what he went through in his kind of journey through all this. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Okay, ladies and gentle people. This is how I became divorced at 22 years old. This is going to be very simplified. I would rather undershare than overshare. I have reached out to members, friends and family members, both myself and my ex-wife, to find the best way to do this. And we all pretty much came to the same conclusion of do not share more than is needed.
Which is ideal.
At some point I feel the need to elaborate. I might do that. There might be long.
Guys, for those of you that don't know, social media is not if you want true healing, social media, the people online are not going to make you feel better about a divorce, about a breakup, about, what he did or what she did or anything like that, what he didn't do, what she didn't do, anything like that. Social media is not the place to do that, because people are just going to use that information and just run with it, and then it's going to cause more issues with your spouse. And that just brings up more, that just opens up the wound even more. There's no healing there, guys. We need to find alternate methods for our issues. Let's keep going.
Versions of this with breakdowns and parts, but let's get into it. Okay, so I got married May 17th of this year. And shortly before that,
this year,
my wife, or ex-wife, started a new job. And that's important to know. So we end up moving into our apartment together in mid-July. I believe it was July 16th. Between the married, when we got married and that time, we were living with my parents. So we move in about 2 weeks after that. My wife has just a breakdown, comes in my office, has a breakdown about, I feel like we might have rushed into this, we did things too soon, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't like we need to split, it was just I'm freaking out. It's like, okay, let's talk through it. And about a week later, she apologizes, says, hey, I think I was just having kind of a mental breakdown. I'm like, hey, that's fine. I get it. It's scary times. I had a freak out. I think it was like the third night that we were staying in the apartment, just about like, missing my family. So some time goes on, and now we're in August, and there's another freak out. And I feel like we rushed into this, blah, blah, blah. Well, we meet with our premarital counselor. Well, our counselors, I guess, but they did our premarital counseling. We talked through, and they're like, hey, this is super common. We see this in young married couples all the time. Let's, set some expectations for one another just so you guys can help each other out. And we did. And, I think in my head, things are going great. Okay, so Monday, September 15th rolls around, and I leave work a little early. She tells me that she wants me to come home so we can talk. And so we go home, or I go home, and I get there, and she's like, hey, I'm not ready to talk just yet. Go play the game. So I'm like, okay, I play the game for an hour. Go back in, hey, I'm not ready to talk just yet. Go play the game. Okay, go back in for an hour. Whatever. So basically she tells me, hey, I don't know, I don't want to talk about this. I think that it's just not worth talking about. And me being an anxious person, I'm like, well, is it something small, or is it something like you want to move out? And she's just kind of like, I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like, there's just so many things happen so quick, and I don't know. Well, either way, we talk through things a little bit. I think she can tell that I'm upset, she could tell that I was upset, so she just kind of dialed back. Maybe, I don't know where her mind space is or headspace is in any of this. Well, the following Saturday rolls around. Everything's all hunky dory for me. I go out with my buddy. We put out some bags of corn.
22. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at a 22-year-old. Like, you literally just got on. And now, granted, there's just a level of maturity that we see nowadays to where I'm like, 22 is extremely young to be married. And people are going to say there's so much out in the world that's out there that you haven't seen, things that you haven't experienced. For you to settle down 22 is early. I have different views in regards to that, but it's just like I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, you're still a kid practically. You're still a kid. But I mean, people do what they feel. Let's just keep going.
And stuff. And then I get home. She's like, hey, when are you gonna be home? I tell her, and she's like, okay, great. Like, I'm gonna take a shower and I'll see you when you get home. Well, I get home. She got her bags packed. Okay, I'm gonna stay with my mom.
Okay.
I need some space away. I might be back Wednesday. I don't know. Can we talk? Nope. Gone. Out the door. Gone. Poof. Gone. No contact that Sunday, that Monday. Then Tuesday night, I finally call her. Now, mind you, in between this, I'm over at my best friend's house. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. And
so the apartment that y'all paying for is empty. Sorry, that's kind of crazy to me. But let's keep going. I would have at least invited my friend over. I mean, shoot. But let's keep going.
I say no contact. There were a couple texts sent. Well, she also goes over there and is with him and his girlfriend and just talking to them. And it's, they're trying to figure out what's going on. And they're asking the questions. Hey, is there anything going on? Might be calls. Is there anything? She's like, no, nothing. Well, so Tuesday night I call her. And this is now, let me get the date. Yeah, so Tuesday the 23rd of September, I call her and things seem well. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go out tomorrow? She's like, yeah. So
there's a lot of information.
Great dinner.
There's a lot of information for something that he's not giving a lot of information on. Seems like, I don't know, maybe way more to this.
And she tells me, like, look, I've decided I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to run away. Like, we're going to work on this together. I can't leave you. I don't want to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. Awesome. Okay. But you need to do this and this and this and this and this. And mind you, everything's been fairly normal for me up to this point.
Who has to do
her leaving? So thing number one was therapy. So I put myself in therapy. I get couples therapy for the two of us. I'm paying out the butt for it, but whatever. This is necessary. Whatever means. She's like, I'm not ready to move back in yet, but we'll see. So we have our first therapy session that following Sunday.
She's clearly done something.
Just to kind of collapse all this down. Eventually, after like a week or so, she moves back in. Things are going great. I'm cooking dinner every single night, right? She did almost nothing around the apartment, and I would complain about that because it's like, but I was like,
okay. There's just something about that like makes my neck kind of twitch, where you what is going on here? You don't really do anything. Does she work? Oh, yeah, she does work. Okay. She must be the breadwinner. I don't know. I'm assuming she's a breadwinner if this is happening. I don't know.
You know what? I don't care. Cooking, cleaning, everything. Laundry, everything. I'm doing everything, right? I like made up her closet for her and stuff and whatever. I'm just like, I'm trying to show her whatever it is that you need, I'm going to do. And I just start working on myself and start trying to be, the best husband that I could possibly be. And it's stuff that I should have been doing beforehand, but it's like, this is my first time. I'm a kid. Well, 3 weeks go by. Let me go back to my
first time I'm a kid.
So, mind you, during this time too, she's like trying to get me to buy her a new car and like a gaming PC, and we're coming to all the. I mean, it's amazing. It seemed like the most perfect marriage. Well, Sunday, October 12th rolls around, and things have been going great. We have our therapy session, and the therapist is like, guys, it's my first time. I'm a kid. Well, 3 weeks go by. Let me go back to my text to figure out the date. So, mind you, during this time, too, she's, like, trying to get me to buy her a new car and, like, a gaming PC, and we're coming to all the... I mean, it's amazing.
Okay, she wants him to go to therapy. She wants him to do this and the third, just other stuff that he has to agree on. Now she wants him to buy her a car and a gaming PC. Okay.
It seemed like the most perfect marriage. Well, Sunday, October 12th rolls around, and things have been going great. We have our therapy session, and the therapist is like, guys, I think we made a breakthrough. And we're laughing, giggling, whatever. Well, therapy session ends. She looks at me, hey, I'm dropping out of nursing school. When did you make that decision? She's like, therapist is like, guys, I think we made a breakthrough. And we're laughing, giggling, whatever. Well, therapy session ends. She looks at me, hey, I'm dropping out of nursing school.
I'm dropping under I didn't hear that part. I don't know what that is.
When did you make that decision? She's like, last week. It's like, okay, all right. I support you. That's a big decision. You know, that gives us more time to spend together. You know, I guess work through these things. Breakdown, anxiety, full on, just
She's dropping her job, I think.
My jump to is, hey, let's pray. She doesn't want to. She goes, jumps in the shower.
She doesn't want to pray.
She's free. I can't do this. I thought I could, whatever. And I'm like, hey, let's get in the car, because car rides always.
Sounds like a lot of manipulation,
let's
man.
get in the car and ride around. In the car, I've been lying to you. I've been doing X, Y, and I go, have you been cheating? And she looks at me, yeah. With who? It's her boss.
Oh! Dang. That hurt. That hurt me. Wow. Let's keep going. There's a lot going on here. I need time to think.
So she says that. And, you know, I've always been a very emotional person, but in that moment, I couldn't cry. I couldn't get angry. All I could do was drive. And in my head, I'm just praying while listening and trying to talk. And basically, she says, I find out over time that she had started emotionally cheating, which let's just call it what it is. She started cheating 2 weeks after we moved into our apartment. So mind you, this is 2 months after we get married. And
2 months.
That, if we do the timeline here, that's when the first freak out happened, when she came into my office. And then apparently it was just that. And then towards the time of the second freak out, before she moved out, was when they had started making plans to be physical. And then during the time between that freak out and her moving out is when they actually did have a level of physical relation.
So when she dipped out the first time.
And then,
bruh.
Mind you, this all comes out the day before I'm supposed to hop on a flight for a promotion that I just received. And she tells me that this has been going on.
Talk about trial.
Most likely going to continue going on. And
it's most likely going to continue?
Yeah. Not crying about it, not upset about it. Actually, I'll just tell you guys, laughing at my crying, because eventually I do start crying, of course. She's like, look, let's go back to the apartment. Chill out there. And I'm like, okay. We get back to the apartment. She's like, look, I need to call him.
What?
Mind you, I'm falling apart.
What?
Look, I need to call him.
Nah, bro. Nah. No. Oh my gosh. And you're 22. You're 22. You love the Lord. You've been trying to make this work out. It's not going to be in you to, it's too early. It's not going to be in you to do otherwise. Oh man. The manipulation is real. Yo, this is why I always say, man, men may be dumb, but women, it can be very, very wicked. Very wicked. Oh my goodness, man. Ugh. I can't even finish. This hurts. This is only part one. There's a part two. Oh man.
I need to make sure he's okay.
Whoa! No way. What do you mean he's okay? Okay. What do you mean he's okay? This takes a different level of like spiritual maturity to overcome this situation and like just your viewpoint on this individual. There's no way. There's no way. This has to be a different catch because there's no way.
So she leaves for 2 hours while it's like 12 o'clock at night. I can't sleep. I can't do anything. Right? I have a flight to catch the next morning. I can't do anything. I'm falling apart. Finally, she comes home. She's like, look, I don't want to talk about this. Let's just lay down. So I get like 2 hours of sleep, wake up, get on a flight, and absolutely bomb. Do terrible, right? Because how could you do well? And during this week, while I'm gone, all I'm thinking of is, okay, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? I don't know how I'm going to fix it. How do you forgive? Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And wow, God is good.
Wow.
Because though I didn't fix it, he kept me functioning better than I would have without him. And yeah, so then I get back. She ends up actually picking me up from the airport that Thursday night. We hang out, or she drives me back to the apartment, goes and stays at her mom's. Friday morning, wake up, we go on a date. It's great. We're having a good time. It's a little weird, but we're having a good time. Well, eventually, we go back to the apartment. She falls asleep. I go through her phone, and it is her and him dogging on me, talking about how she's going to stay on my good side so she can get things from me, and all sorts of terrible stuff. And so I'm like, hey, wake up. Let's go. And she's like, oh my gosh, did you go through my phone? I'm like, yeah, I did. And then, okay, ladies and gentle people.
Okay. That's part one. Okay. All right. Here's part two. That like the level of the depth of the pit that is in my heart right now is very deep. It's immensely deep right now. Hold on. I'm looking at the comments and one of my homeboys just commented on this. Yo, bro. Okay, part two. Let's go.
Part two. I didn't think it was gonna be this long. So
you said it was gonna be short and brief. This ain't short and brief. I'm ready to like. This is one of those situations where it's both sides. And like my homie said, like as soon as she said it the first time, you should have realized this was gonna keep going. I mean, there's a level of forgiveness and there's a level of conviction that happens and all of this, but that really just comes with knowing who this individual is. Let's just keep going. He has a part two. It's also 9 minutes.
Yeah, so she goes and starts freaking out, and she's like, take me home. I'm like, okay, cool. Now,
by the way, I'm like 60% that this is not true. Not because I don't believe anything he's saying, but because I don't want to believe what he's saying and that this is happening. Because it cuts in your trust in humanity, in just people, which we shouldn't fully trust anybody besides God. But it's like I don't want this to actually be true. I just hope that this is just him, just trying to get views and stuff like that. Because this is a lot. There's a lot.
We are driving home, and she's telling me, I really thought there was a chance. I really thought that you would change, but you going through my phone just shows me you're the same person.
Change. Okay, now I really need to hear her side of the story, but.
I just took you on a date.
I need to know.
A bunch of money.
I need to know what's going on.
Like, had what I thought was a great day, and the whole time you're sneaking off to the bathroom to text your boyfriend about how you have to stay on my good side, and hoping that he's not upset with you for it. So then I turn on her snap maps, going crazy. I turn on her snap maps, and sure enough, that night she ends up at his house. Saturday morning, wake up.
I think I use gaslighting right, but that the word I know for certain is right. Manipulation is intense and is real. Zero accountability. My goodness.
Go home, pack up all of her stuff nicely, not throwing
Oh,
stuff,
good
right? I
job.
just put
Good.
whatever clothes and stuff in the bags and
Good.
put the other stuff in whatever. Load it in the back of the truck, text her, hey, what time do you get off work? Or what time are you going to be at your mom? She tells me, like, okay, I pull up, got all of her stuff in the truck, and she's like, can we go get food? I'm like, you know what? Let me see how much information I can fish out of here. So she knows at this point, she's found out that her Snap Mouse is on. So I'm like, where were you last night? She's like, a friend called me. I was upset at you, and so, they called me and I went over. I was like, was it his house? She's like, yeah. I'm like, did you sleep with him? Yeah. Gotcha. So then, full transparency, we're riding around, and she's just like, let's just drive. Let's just go somewhere. Let's just wake up and see the sunset somewhere. And I'm not going to overshare, but I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb.
To a degree, bro. Hey, you said it first. To a degree, bro. Yes. But you're 22. You're 22. I can't. Would I have done the same thing when I was 22? No, I can't even say that. And I'll explain later on. But let's keep going.
So dumb. And I'm not even going to listen. What your mind is thinking, that happens. What a moron. What a buffoon, right? So either way.
After the day after she left to go to him, and now young. That's what I'm just gonna say. Young and dumb. Young and dumb.
I'm spending the night. I'm spending the night. And then Sunday, I wake up and I go to church because I'm like, God, I need you so, which I go to church anyways, right? But I'm like, God. And so I go to church and I walk in early and I sit there and I just cry in a pew. And then I get out of church and to a text from her, hey, she texted me somewhere along the lines of, or I can't remember if it was text or call, but she's like, hey, like, come back over, I don't like how you left. I'm like, okay. So I went over and I get over there and she just wants to lay down. We lay down and, what an idiot. Either way. So she's like,
again? 22. Hormones are high, emotions are high. This is what happens. 22. This is what happens at 22, guys. Damn.
hey, I gotta go to my friend's house. So you gotta go. This is several hours later. Well, she goes to her friend's house, and then she goes back to his house. In the same day! Oh, gosh! So yeah. So I'm like, hey, I schedule us tests, because I just...
I'm sick.
Sorry. So I schedule us test. Thank God, everything's fine. Everything's clean. Everything's clear. Thank God. Well, then the next, 2 or so weeks go by, and she's talking about, hey, I'm moving, I'm going to do all these things, and, I want us to be friends. I want us to stay in contact with
No. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for myself. I know exactly everything that's going on. You have something that's going on in your life. I'm going to pray that God delivers you and that you're convicted and that whatever it is that's going on, that it stops before you hurt somebody else, before you continue to hurt yourself even more. And I'm going to go and live my life because I'm young. I'm 22. It's not like I'm 34 or I'm 40 where the pool is slightly diminishing with what it is I may be looking for. I still have so many more options. Being married at 20. See, okay.
And I'm still in the mindset of, I'm going to make this work. Well, along the way, I end up finding out a lot more. And I didn't believe it at first until I start receiving proof. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot of hits. And mind you, we hang out 1 or 2 times after that. And so eventually she says, hey, I'm moving and stuff and whatever. And I'm like, okay. And so in my mind, I'm not signing the papers. I'm not signing the papers. Crazy. Sorry, I made a covenant vow with God. I don't care if you're stupid and went and did something stupid. No. We're going to figure this out. Eventually you take so many hits that you start to realize maybe God's giving you the pass. Maybe God's letting you get out of this. And that's exactly what happened. She continuously chose other people throughout these 2 weeks or so. I don't know what happened with him because they broke up. And then there was
That
2
sucks.
or 3. I don't know. Either way. So eventually, it finally clicks in my head. I'm like, oh, you got to shut it off, bro. Straight Vampire Diaries, just turn it off. So I did. So I guess it's 2 weeks later. She texts or she calls me. She's like, "Hey, when are we seeing each other?" And I'm like, "For what?" She's like, "Just, I guess, just to sign the papers." I said, "You don't need me for that. You guys can, you
Just
can
go
get your
ahead and
stuff
do this.
signed and
Send
then
me
have me
my
served or
piece,
whatever. I'll
and
sign mine and be done."
I'll take care of
Mind
it.
you, this is radically different than the last thing she heard from me, which is I'm not signing anything. So then I get a text Monday. Hey, do you want to see me before I leave? I'll respond. Wednesday we meet to sign papers. I'm not going to explain how that ended up happening. I didn't know she was going to be there. Either way, papers get signed and give, whatever. And she's like, "Can I get a hug?" I was like, "Look, I don't." And she's like, "Please." So, okay, give her a hug. And then, yeah.
Now what?
There's so much that's not in this.
Okay.
Because,
I thought I was gonna say
and
something
if
else.
somehow any party that's not, I don't want to say on my side, but on my side with this, I am doing the opposite of dogging. There's so much more, and if there's any accusation of, oh, he's lying, I hate to break it to everyone, but I'm not a buffoon. Alabama's a one-party state, and it was in my own home and vehicle. I've got everything. I have everything right here.
And for those of you that don't know, that looks like a GPS tracker. So he has the location of everywhere that vehicle went. Yeah. Sykes.
So the legitimacy behind what I've said right here. I undershared a lot because I hope, and the last thing that I said to her, I prayed over her. The last thing that we did is we had a conversation. I said, I am not mad. I do not hate you. I hope you have a wonderful life. I hope you find a man someday that you can love the way that you should. I prayed for her, wished her the best. Said I can't be in contact with you again. I can never talk to you again.
Good job.
Now it's turned into a thing where she's dogging me to an extent. I don't want to say dogging me, but it's like
Expected. It's manipulator.
It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just a little bit of stupid stuff.
It's manipulator.
Though. And gotta move on. Gotta let go. I'm so separated. But the plan is, now that I've said all of this, I can now do what I really wanted to do this whole time, which is make the Christian content, but also make the Christian content that speaks directly through what, in my opinion, is got to be one of the hardest things you can go through in life, and that is infidelity, right? In separation, divorce, whatever. And now that I've really said what happened, I feel like it gives me some grounds to talk about this, because let me tell you, if you have gone through anything even remotely close to what I just went through, worse, better, whatever, God will take care of you. God will provide a way every time. You just have to trust in Him. Do not run to the world. It's so freaking easy. Believe me, dude. I was one text message away from doing something stupid.
Stupid.
I was one. I'm 2 feet away from solving all the problems.
Wow. I'm still in hopes that all this is fake, but if he claims to be Christian, if he is Christian, then shame on him if this is all fake. So I'm just gonna go off of everything that he said. There's two parts in a relationship. There's him and there's a her. Each person has their own obligation for their responsibilities in a relationship. Each person has their own obligations for, self accountability and to make the other party accountability. And again, when it comes to marriage, we have to treat marriage. This person. If you're truly looking at a biblical marriage, it's a conjoining of two into one. It's not two. That's a contract. And you sign a marriage contract because the world needs to know that you are married to this person. We have to take it past that. into a biblical marriage, which is a covenant, and you have now merged yourself with this other person, why would you just work out if let's say it's literally like me being a whole person and I'm only working out my right hand, and my right hand is getting stronger, my right hand is becoming more stable, my right hand is, is just that thing that I know was going to do what I needed to do, but I'm not working out my left hand, which would be my spouse. And at that point, my left hand is weak. It's a hindrance. It's a handicap. It's dead weight. So then, if an obstacle comes my direction, yeah, I may be able to do everything that I need to with my right hand. But the second that my left hand needs to be involved, I fail because I didn't make sure that my left hand was strong enough. Where was I going with that? That's just in the sense of a covenant. That's just the beginning of where I'm trying to go. And I'm trying to make this quick because we're already 30 minutes in and there's a lot to unpack here. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting all this to happen. Whew. Okay, let me give a testimony first. When I was in high school, I wasn't the prettiest guy. I mean, not that I'm the prettiest guy now. I'm still wondering how the heck my wife decided to, pick me out of everybody else that she could have been with. But anyways, so I'm in high school. This is before I met my wife, and I was talking to somebody. Kind of similar situation, except we weren't married, so there was less of, and I guess that's probably where it was easier for me because there was a less of an obligation for me to want to stick things out or try to make things work out. I, as an individual, was always the person that was looking for my wife. I wasn't looking to sleep around. And as crazy as that may sound, and as much as I talk about, the sinful desires and the lust that I used to struggle with and stuff like that. As crazy as that sounds, I suppressed those desires with desires of actually wanting to be married and be with somebody was more important. Like that was on the forefront than sleeping around with women and stuff like that. Because I have a mom, I have sisters, and I didn't want to treat, women, somebody else's sister, somebody else's mother, somebody else's daughter, the way that, all these other wild men, for like a better term, would do. So I was never on my forefront. When I was in high school, I was talking to, or I guess kind of talking to, trying to be in relations with somebody that I favored. Long story short, after her being in the school for a couple of months and me trying to talk to her, and me, we had some type of thing going on. Turns out it wasn't enough. She ended up moving and not really talking to me and stuff like that. And then things just kind of died down. I did use the L words, which I threw out, and I guess I kind of set her off. So ultimately, what ended up happening was that I found out by one of my close friends that also lived in our neighborhood that while we were talking, that he had slept with her. Needless to say, I stopped talking to him because I'm like, that's kind of crazy. You knew we were talking, we boys, but even in the midst of us talking, you slept with her. Okay, cool. And I was hurt for months. And it wasn't until my cousin was like a sister to me. She had referred to me to her pastor, and her pastor was the one that got me started in reading a proverb a day. A proverb a day makes the folly go away. And he had told me, go find out the truth. If it's eating you up that much, go find out the truth. And whatever it is, even if it is what you expect it to be, at the end of the day, you just go back to life before you met her, which honestly wasn't that long. It's not like it was 3-4 years like a lot of people. It was just, a couple of months or whatever. So I did. I called her and she told me, yeah, that happened. I was like, okay, that's all I wanted to know. And we parted ways and that was it. That was tough. And then there was 2 more, I guess, relationships that I tried to get into after that, or 1 more relationship I tried to get into after that before I met, my wife. But we didn't get married until 10 years after our relationship. And that was because of school. I just didn't have the finances to afford a wedding like he did somehow at 22. Would I have married my wife at 22? I would have. That probably wouldn't have been the best idea because unlike this guy, I would have crashed out. I would have went nuts. I would have went wild. Everything that we had went through, and granted, there was some stuff that we had went through, but we managed to, you know, work through, and it wasn't anything like this. Nothing like this. If it was like this, bro, yeah, nah, I don't think I would. At 22, nah, bro, I don't think I would have been able to keep the relationship. That would have been a deuces after the first time. Maybe there would have been forgiveness, but once the night that I found out that you were just using me, that would have been it. That would have been it. There wouldn't been no more after that. And just the level of manipulation that it seems like is happening right now, it's hard for me to, and it would be hard for me to hear her side of the story and kind of, understand where she was coming from. Because at the end of the day, you did a deed that was sinful from the jump. And then that also, okay, and this is the part that I'm bringing in and then I'm bringing it home. The thing that becomes important here is how well do you know the individual? How well is their walk with Christ? How well do they exhibit the fruit of the Spirit? I know I talk about the fruit of the Spirit a lot, but when you see somebody's life, and that is really what drew me to my wife, was that when you get to really know somebody, listen to who they are and how they talk, how they act, and how they react to certain situations, it goes deeper than just, yeah, we got this in common, we got that in common. We go out to these places and, I'm attracted to her and stuff like that. I don't know what exactly got him to be with her and want to marry her. And it could be everything that I'm saying, but I don't know. There's just this, if it's not a matter of this person like the back of your hand, and then, or you thought you did, and then they ended up doing elsewhere. If it's not that, then I feel like it's probably a case of she was just unpleased. She was just unpleased, and the boss managed to please her in a way that he couldn't. She mentioned about a lot of him needing to change. I feel like there's some level of it's hit, like that he's had some involvement into the decisions, because that's always the case. But I just don't know, guys. I don't know. This is a tough situation to be in. It hurts my heart just thinking about it. And this is why it's important to stay away. Like they say this a lot, especially for men, but just because we're all human, this can happen to women as well. It's expected to happen to men, but if it happens to a man with somebody at work, then that means it also has to happen to a woman, because both are in both are caught in this situation. She just so happened to be the woman. So women also too have to be strong and fight against the ways of the world. Not only that, men also need to be aware of the world that their wife is going into, and that requires a level of trust, a level of communication that has to happen, because this is a lot that goes into here. And I'm no marriage counselor or anything like that, but just based off of experience, just based off of the stuff that I've seen and the way that people act, and seeing how like there's a lot of people that don't communicate about a lot of stuff when it comes to their marriages. Now, I don't talk about everything when it comes to my marriage as well. It's stuff that I need to work on, but it's just highly unfortunate. And this is the last part I want to bring. The reason I'm not a fan of early marriages, especially at 22, you're 22. How long have you known her if you're getting married at 22? And these are pivotal years when your mind changes, when you experience certain things, and you may switch up the time period in which some people's faith, some people's understanding of life, and just their morality, and just just decide that they may sit on politically. So many things changes around this time, and emotions change at this time, and desires change at this time. I am fully against being married this early. It's too young for me. And that's not, and people could say, oh, well, people got married even earlier back in the day. Yeah, that's because they don't have so much of the world that they're being exposed to. That's the thing. If there wasn't so much in the world that you could be exposed to, then this wouldn't be an issue. Back in the day, women weren't even allowed to go that far away from their husbands. Were there still cheating and stuff like that? Yes, of course. There were prostitutes and all that stuff that was going on back in the day. And of course there was cheating. But there's so many excuses as to why somebody could feel like they need to get a divorce, or that they need to step out of their marriage. And the emotion is just drive. So at this age, should just drive so high your emotions and your lustful desires and all these other things, sinful desires. Guys, it's a thing. It's a thing. Praying for the dude, but I'm glad that it happened now because he can be redeemed. This definitely gives justification for him to divorce, even though I'm pretty sure that she was the one that filed for the divorce. He can go ahead and remarry, y'all. He can go ahead and remarry. And he's still young. That's the point that I was bringing up earlier. He's still young. He's able to go and, mingle again, probably be a little more cognizant. I pray that this situation does not hinder his relationship building with the next person. But like I said before, he's young. He's 22, no kids. So that's definitely a dodge bullet. God bless him with that. Just a lot of experience that he will have to navigate on how to not allow this to affect his next relationship, how he can not be manipulated in the next relationship. And clearly he's using this as a testimony for all the guys that, in, for lack of a better term, are simps, just to be able to, for, again, lack of a better term, grow a pair, and not a sense of that you got to be a douche towards women, but know your worth, know who you're with, and just be able to make decisions best for your relationship, but understanding what you have in front of you so that you can make the best decision. Because them being separated was the best decision. In my opinion. Somebody may say otherwise. I don't know. But that's enough rambling from me. My mouth is dry. This was a lot. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Take it easy.